Hello world and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm nikkirenae and today I am doing something for the first time ever, not just on the channel, literally my first time ever doing this, and I'm so excited. So I've had a NetGalley account for like years now, but since I got sick I've been in like a slump. So even though I was approved for some books, I never really read them, which is why I was so surprised when I applied to read Ali Carter's newest release and I was approved. Like, I literally, it's on my Kindle, my favorite author ever, and I got approved for an ARC of her newest release, which is so wild because I am also going to be getting this book signed and personalized. In fact, she just did all the signing and personalizations for the books on Friday. Today's Monday. Today's actually Monday the 28th, so next Tuesday is when the book is coming out. So today's video is going to be reading The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold ARC, except I was fully prepared to be using my Kindle. I love my Kindle. I mean, I bought it, I use it, that's the point, you know? But I actually got a package today from HarperCollins. I have a physical ARC of a book by my favorite author. The first time I read her books, the first book I read it and I immediately knew that I loved doing this, that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. The first book I ever read by Ali Carter was I'd Tell You I Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You, and I obviously now have 4 copies. I have multiple copies of almost every other book from her, but obviously this one in this series just means so much to me. I'm back closer, the sun is setting, so it's just, but I'm just so excited. I've never had a physical ARC before, and it's my favorite author. Truly, what could go wrong here, right? Like, nothing. It's gonna be a 5-star. I've never given her books less than 5. This one is actually longer than The Blonde Identity. The Blonde Identity, I think, was 289 pages? 280 something. And it actually left off on the epilogue when this main character, Alex, goes to see the main character of the first one, who is her identical twin sister, to ask for help because of a certain romance situation going on. So, what is this book about? Because I've been yapping and yapping about her, but I haven't told you what the book is actually about. And here's the really, really fun part. Like I said, I've never gotten an ARC before, so I don't know if this is normal, but I got like this whole information situation thing. It says The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold by Ali Carter, an action-packed second chance rom-com about 2 rival spies who must join forces in order to stay alive if they don't kill each other first. And then it has like so many different things showing off the praise that it's gotten. There's like it's so fun. I don't even know what to do with this. Like, do I just read it all? Like, Avon Books, an imprint of HarperCollins, is thrilled to publish the latest heart-stopping, laugh-out-loud romantic romp from #1 New York Times bestselling author Ali Carter, The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. Having sold over 3 million copies in 25+ languages of her much-lauded Gallagher Girl and High Society YA series, Ali is now concretely established in the adult space, proving she's a powerhouse in any genre. Which is so true! From the glittering high-rise penthouses of Los Angeles to misty Scottish castles to black sand beaches, The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold whisks readers away on a cinematic journey and back into Ali's blonde universe, established with her unputdownable adult debut, The Blonde Identity. This standalone sequel follows Alexandra Sterling and Michael Kingsley. She's a sharp-tongued, fiercely independent heroine haunted by her past. He's a guarded, strategic spy with layers of vulnerability beneath his cool facade. Together, they are dynamite, navigating a maze of trust, betrayal, and simmering passion that only grows tighter as secrets unravel. Think People We Meet on Vacation meets Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or James Bond but rom-commed. What's waiting between the pages of The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold is more than a love story, however. It's an action-packed adventure, bursting with tropes readers adore, from grumpy sunshine and fake relationships to amnesia-fueled hijinks. This cleverly plotted thrill ride flings its protagonists into the shadowy corners of espionage while serving up explosive chemistry, biting banter, and emotional yearning. This one is guaranteed to keep readers laughing, gasping, and swooning all at once, blending the pulse-pounding stakes of a spy thriller with the warmth, humor, and feels of a rom-com. This book is tailor-made for fans of Ali Hazelwood, Tessa Bailey, and Jessa Q. Sutanto. The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold is perfect for readers who crave escapism that feels glamorous but grounded. With its razor-sharp wit and daring romantic intrigue, it isn't just a book. It's an experience that'll linger long after the final page is turned. It's Ali Carter at her best as she delivers complex characters who feel real and the kind of high-stakes love story that's impossible to resist. With her unmatched knack for blending laugh-out-loud comedy and edge-of-your-seat action, The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold cements Ali's reign as queen of the suspense-filled rom-com. There's an About the Author section, so if you don't know who Ali Carter is, first of all, shame, dishonor, my heart is broken. Second of all, Ali Carter writes books about people who fall in love while trying to stay alive. After more than a decade of writing beloved YA titles like I'd Tell You I Love You, But Then I'd Have to Kill You, and High Society, she launched onto the adult scene with The Blonde Identity and The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. A longtime lover of the holiday rom-com, Ali is also the writer of the Netflix original movie A Castle for Christmas. All that to say, Ali has written young adult, naturally adult, middle grade, and she has a movie out. Fun fact, I've actually, as like a side project while at school, I was doing a whole Ali Carter backlog slideshow presentation, complete with the timeline, like awards, all the things, and it's kind of really cool, so if you want to see that, I might finish it just for you. Ooh, before we go, since I read this part, let's end by reading the back of the book. 10 years ago, they joined the CIA. 6 years ago, he left the game. 5 years ago, they fell in love. 1 year ago, she ran out in the cold with absolutely no intention of ever coming back. And 2 minutes ago, they woke up bloody and bruised and handcuffed together in the dark. They don't know where they are. They don't know how they got there. And they have absolutely no idea who is after them or what this nameless, faceless villain wants. The only thing that's clear is that after 10 years of covers and chemistry, secrets and lies, these two rival spies have been sucked into their greatest mission yet. And now they're going to have to team up to stay alive, if they don't kill each other first. Hello! So it is the next day. I started The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold last night, and it's so funny because this is an uncorrected proof arc, right? And I've seen some of the mistakes, and I just find it so funny to see that part of the process. I'm at page 33, which is chapter 7. So I thought I'd just come on here and say some of my first thoughts after having read a little bit. So the plot is definitely keeping my attention. It's actually a dual timeline from the current first day and 10 years ago, which was when Alex started at spy school. I don't know if I would necessarily say that it's fast-paced. I think a lot of Ali Carter books sort of seem fast-paced or tend to sway to be fast-paced just because she has short chapters and there's always something happening to take the story further. There's never any like lulling moments. but because we're going back and forth right now, I'm not entirely sure if I would really say that it's fast-paced. It's just going organically. I say that so much, but it's just going at a pace that really does just make sense. Something that's really funny is that the voice of this definitely matches the blonde identity a little bit. We do also have dual points of view between Alex and then the main guy, who is Michael Kingsley, who is called King. And it's the same for the blonde identity, where it was the female main character and the main male character both having, if you can hear Junie's toy, I'm so sorry, but both having their chapters and points of view and stuff, which is really nice. It's definitely a good addition to the story. Reading Alex is so funny because there are so many things, so many ways that she reflects her twin sister, who was the female main character from the blonde identity. So even though her twin sister had amnesia for like the entirety of the blonde identity, you could still see those similarities between them from Alex's book to sort of shine through. So I would definitely recommend reading The Blonde Identity before The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. We definitely established that there was going to be some sort of relationship between Alex and King very early, but it wasn't in a way that was like forced. I think it definitely made sense, especially for both of them, especially once we got King's point of view, because it started with Alex for a decent little bit at the beginning, but then we got him and it was like, makes so much sense. I also was sort of hoping, because this is 10 years ago, and just like in The Blonde Identity, Sawyer said that they'd been spies for 10 years, so I was hoping that we'd see Sawyer. We haven't yet. I'm still holding out hope, though, for Sawyer and her twin sister. Something that I was definitely expecting, and that is definitely happening in this, is that it's giving Gallagher Girls. It's giving an Ally Carter book, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely giving Gallagher Girls, especially because it's spies, and if you don't know, the Gallagher Academy is a school for spies, but unlike how Alex is at like the farm, Gallagher Girls and the Gallagher Academy is for middle and high schoolers. I don't know what I really expected from the story going in, but it's definitely throwing me currently, because I mean, we had a lot more of a specific situation going on for Alex's twin story, so I knew where that was gonna go sort of, and I expected it, but not for hers. And then lastly, before I keep going today, I just wanted to talk about some themes that I'm sort of seeing emerging. So obviously there are a lot of tropes going on, but a good theme that I've seen that I think is definitely important in the context after having read The Blonde Identity is Alex and her relationship with her twin sister. There's a big reveal about her twin sister. It's definitely very important to both of their characters, and I really appreciate that in this we're getting a sort of therapy, self-discovery sort of situation where Alex has to confront that a little bit and confront how her sister's situation actually also affected her. And then I think another theme at least, is the idea of legacies sort of confronting the reality of their situation, I guess, because King is a legacy, so is Sawyer, and we kind of get that from both of them, but in different ways, which I find definitely very intriguing. Where I'm at right now in the story is obviously there's the dual timelines and the dual point of views. So for now, it is King and Alex sort of handcuffed together in a shack somewhere. They have no idea how they got there. They don't know what's going on. And they've sort of just fought some guys. So they're trying to figure it all out together, but it's not working out. And the banter is bantering. It is so good. And then for 10 years ago, like I said, it is right when they start spy school. And there's already a sort of disconnect and rivalry between them, which for Alex is just because she's always wanted to do this. She's going to do this whether he likes it or not. And for King, it's a little bit because it seems like he might be sort of intimidated by her. So the banter is absolutely bantering. They are so funny together. The chemistry is jumping off the page, and it is already so great. I think what's interesting is that literally even on the back right it says it's an action-packed second chance rom-com. So I wonder if we're going to get both sides of that, because obviously the present timeline is going to be the second chance part of their rom-com, but I wonder if 10 years ago is going to be the beginning, the first timeline, I guess, of their love story. I wonder if we'll end up getting like both of those sort of situations, both sides of it. Hello! It is a few days later. We are actually at my sister's house. These are my sister's shelves. Welcome. We have the dogs here, naturally. I just wanted to come on really quickly, talk a little bit about the book. Mostly, though, we have a package to open and it's very important. So I thought we could start by talking about the book a little bit. I'm much farther. I do not have it with me because of the package. So I guess we should probably start with the package then, huh? I guess we have a little unboxing to do here first. I was actually very, very shocked to see that this was here already. Okay, great. Now I have to put the scissors away because, like I said, dogs. Okay, are you ready? We have some packing stuff. And everything is in bubble wrap. This is amazing. This is so great. So first of all, this is from my little receipt from Watermark Books, my thank you note. And now, as you can obviously tell, I have the full finished edition of The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. Let's check it out. Like I said, it's personalized. Oh. Dang it, did I mess it up again? It says Nikki Happy Spying, Allie Carter. It was not supposed to say that. So I wonder if the other book that I got says that as well. It does. It says Nikki Happy Spying, Allie Carter. I could be sort of sad, but also it's still signed and personalized from my favorite author. The really fun thing is that this time, with this Allie release, we got some fun goodies. So this is a Future Spy sticker decal thing, I think. I'm not entirely sure. And then this is like a print. I knew this was happening because Allie posted about it. I haven't been super on socials though, so totally possible that she posted about this too. But that's okay. So this side is just like the cover. This side is a whole like art print situation that happened, and I think I've actually gotten past this part 100%. 100%. I just read this part today, which is so fun. It is so fun. I didn't get any clips because I'm at my sister's house and I didn't want to bring my physical ARC when I knew that I had this in the package. Now, I am at, where am I? I'm at chapter 64, which is page 282. How many pages are in the actual finished one? Because I know there was 300 at least. Okay, there's 318. So, cool. This is like 20-ish pages, about 20 to 30 pages longer than the first one, which is The Blonde Identity. Last I spoke to you about the book, I was only like 33 pages in, right? So naturally, things have happened. However, I don't really have my notes here. Like, I have a thing for notes for what to talk about. I think the one thing that I knew I wanted to talk about in reference to this is the fact that we have the dual points of view and also the non-linear timeline situation going on. I have gotten confused so many times about which part of the timeline it is, whether it's present or sometime in the past, and I cannot tell if that's a me thing or if it's because it's switching back and forth so much. Either way though, it was not hindering my experience and just the absolute joy that I'm getting from this book. I love it so much. And obviously, like I said, I'm at, what did I say, 282? So I'm very close to the end. I only have like 30 pages left, which is truly wild. So I think we're going to have to finish it today. So outside of getting confused because of the non-linear timeline, some things have been happening, and I said this in the Blonde Identity vlog, where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just figuring it all out. Like, I know what's happening next. Like, I know who to trust and who not, and I feel that way in this one. Definitely. Like, things were happening, and I was sitting here like, oh, I'm piecing the things together. I'm getting all the clues. This is what's happening. And then, like, there were a couple times where I was like, actually, I might be a little bit wrong. I was not. Everything that I've seen coming is coming currently. That's what's happening currently. And then I know I said earlier that I was really hoping we would see her twin sister and or Sawyer from book 1. We have seen Sawyer. We have not seen her sister, but we have been talking about her sister, and I really, really love the direction that Allie took with Alex's book, because like I said, given that her sister's book is very amnesia, there is some of that in here, but her sister's is a lot more amnesia heavy, and they don't have a non-linear timeline or dual timeline or anything. So it's really fun to see how well you can see their similar characteristics, even though her sister was going off of like no memories whatsoever. But also, it's very interesting because in the first book, even though her sister can't remember anything, she is still very much Alex's biggest supporter through everything. And it's very interesting to see Alex's side of their relationship, having known how her sister felt. So I'm just going to sit here at my sister's books and finish the book with you. Hi. So, it is a few days later. I did actually film this last clip that same day that I finished the book, but I was sort of racing against the sun because the sun was setting, and I just didn't really want that to be how I ended this video talking about the first ever arc, the first ever book that I read before it came out. So today is actually Saturday. Again, the book comes out on August 5th, which is Tuesday, and this video will be going up on Tuesday. Anyway, I have my notes here. I have sort of like a list of things to talk about before, during, and after reading the book during a vlog, because I feel like a lot of the times my mind, like it doesn't really work. Okay, good talk. Let's get into my final thoughts on The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to mention, I think I commented on the personalization and how I thought it was going to be something else. I did check, and I fully misread the situation. It was not going to be signed and personalized with a special message. It was going to be signed and personalized just with your name, which is so okay. I still was able to get signed and personalized books by my favorite author and the arc. So whether or not it has the quotes that I wanted, it's not the end of the world, and that's okay. First up, let's just get it out of the way. naturally, it's a 5-star. It's a 5-star all around. Even though I had some struggles keeping up with the changing timeline, that was mostly on me, and I think that was really just a reflection of when I was reading on Kindle at night and like half asleep. So I don't think that's something that's quite as abrupt and difficult to follow otherwise. There is a question on here that goes, was it what you needed / expected? And honestly, yes and no. It was definitely what I needed. It was not what I expected at all. Definitely towards the end, I was getting, like, there were so many things happening and I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. There were a lot of scenes and a lot of things that we went back for and covered again, like some of the missing information, just some of those things that I didn't like guess beforehand we were going to go back for, but we did, and it was so great. It really just tied the story into a good, neat bow, and I truly appreciated that. I was a little bit sad that, you know, I'm over here always talking about how I'm predicting so much stuff, and then I didn't catch on that that was going to happen. But that's okay. I think it definitely lived up to the hype. I think going from reading The Blonde Identity to this one, and I've also read the book that she came out with between them, and they were all 3 adult. So I think reading all of them and just reading especially The Blonde Identity and then The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold, I could just see how she has evolved and adapted to the adult genre, because Allie really has something for everybody. She's got middle grade, young adult, and adult, which is just obviously fantastic. I mean, you can read her forever. I'm personally holding out hope that she goes back to middle grade for the Winterborn series, but we shall see. We shall see. If not, that's okay, because I am living for the twins. Truly living for the twins. I think this book was definitely really interesting marketing-wise, because we got to see Allie kind of do some stuff that she hasn't really done before. I think it seems like she's getting really, really comfortable writing for adults and marketing for adults, especially since we got the print. And I've seen that she did at least one podcast that she was on, and she's been a lot more on social media now, so it just seems like she's getting a lot more comfortable with promoting and marketing again, which I love because I've been around for a while and I feel like she sort of wasn't for a little while, and that's totally okay. Authors don't owe us the pleasure of content, so that's totally okay. But also, not even a but, that's not a but, just it was very nice to see that sort of shift in how she's been working. Were there any major surprises? So, back to me talking about how I was so proud of myself. I was predicting things and I knew it was going to happen. Yes and no. The really, really big twist, there was like 2 parts of it I did not see coming. I did not catch it. I think I sort of had an inkling, because with these specific tropes and elements of story writing, there are things that you can do that you might be able to sort of see beforehand. So I think I kind of thought maybe this was going to happen. I was sort of suspecting, but I did not get there in the end before it happened, but it was still such a fun time. I really appreciate when, if there's a twist, if there's a big twist, that it still makes sense, first of all, and second of all, that you can get there, that you can figure it out beforehand. And I totally think in this case, you still could. I just wasn't paying attention, and that's also okay. You don't have to read and pay attention to all of the details. You don't have to read and read like an analyzer or just like a writer. You can read as a reader and just have a fun time. I think the character arcs definitely paid off. I know I've talked a lot about how the differences between the twins in their books was really interesting to see, especially since they both had elements of amnesia. They were different degrees, but it still showed a lot of their similarities and differences, especially given that one of the things that I love the most between them is that in Alex's twins book, in The Blonde Identity, we see her still very much Alex's #1 supporter. She does not remember anything. Okay, like, she literally wakes up at Paris in the snow to getting yelled at and shot at, and that's the first thing she remembers. She does not remember anything else. However, throughout the entire story, she is still 100% on her sister's side, even though she doesn't remember her, even though she doesn't remember herself. And now for Alex, it's a little bit different because she's only lost 48 hours, so she still remembers everything about her life. And I think the difference is just from their childhood. I think they're definitely, like, it would have been a completely different story for the blonde identity if our main female had remembered their childhood specifically, but I think it was such an interesting difference to have there, especially for the character development that happens with Alex for all of the timeline situation that's going on. So I think the character arcs were definitely very well done. She had some things to work out, and I think she definitely did, and I think King was really helpful in that situation to help her through that. And I think King also went through a good character arc. I think there's more. I believe that there is the possibility that there could be more to his arc, especially because of what we found out at the very end in relation to him. But I did think it was really, really fun. We obviously saw the juxtaposition between the twins, but we also saw a really interesting juxtaposition between both spy guys, between Sawyer and King, because they're sort of similar, but they're sort of not. And it was really fun to see how Allie played with those similarities and differences to make them literally completely different characters, to the point where you couldn't, like, it didn't even dawn on me, the similarities, until almost at the complete end, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow. So it's like the twins are the same person in a different font, and it's like their love interests are the same person, but in a different font. I would love to follow these characters into a sequel, especially given how this ends. I think it would be so fun. So we started with her twins book, and then we got Alex's book. I feel like it would be so fun to round out a trilogy and have the last book be all four of them coming together to do some sort of mission together, because they're so good at coverting and spying. Like, they're so good. And together, it's the twins going off of each other. It's perfection. It's perfection. And to round out talking about the characters in general, like I said, or I think I said, we did see Sawyer in this, and we did get to see her twin. So that was very, very fun. I was waiting for it. I was hoping. So we got to see all of them together, all four of them together, and it was the absolute cutest thing, like, ever. The story was definitely satisfying. I did not feel like it was dragging. I did think it was a little much sometimes. We would have like a scene from the present lead into something from the past, and then we would get that scene in the past, and then we would get the adjoining scene in the present, and it was a little bit much at some points where it was just happening so often. But I also think it was balanced out really well with the other situations happening on both timelines that was different anyway. So even though I felt like it was sort of repetitive in those situations, I did not have a problem with it. I still felt like the book was very satisfying. I feel like it just made sense to do that, especially given the differences in Alex and King's relationship between the past and the present. I think that was needed to do both of those scenes to really show the difference in their like first chance versus second chance romance. The world was definitely memorable. I think it was really, really fun, the way that we got to see so many different scenes and countries and just different places with Alex versus her sister, who stayed sort of centralized in some specific places. However, I think both of the stories were still, they're very memorable, and I think the settings are also very memorable, especially given how they're used for the plot. And I think that's something I really appreciate from Allie, is that everything just always makes sense in the context that it's supposed to make sense within. I think if you appreciate spies, if you read the Gallagher Girls series at any point when you were younger or recently or anything, you would love the Blonde series. And I I would recommend this to anybody who likes spies, fast-paced sort of books, a lot of tension. We do get romantic situations. There is no explicit scenes though. So if you're looking for a romance that's more plot and character focused rather than relationship intimacy focused, then Allie's books are really good for that. This package was the highlight of my year. Truly. So if you liked this video, or if you like Allie Carter books, maybe like and subscribe, that'd be great. If you have anything that you would like me to read, definitely let me know. I don't really turn down books. I'm always open to reading stuff. I'm easily entertained. That is the end of the video. So, te aprecio mucho y mi corazón es tuyo para siempre. Adios!